Hello everybody, this is Dr Berman coming to you on a YouTube video. I always wanted to do YouTube, but I never thought it would be this way. This is actually courtesy of Professor Ron Sicker. Some of you may have taken courses with Ron. If you haven't, you should, because he's a good guy and he's an absolutely fabulous teacher. And I would be saying that even if he weren't kind enough to be the one who was setting this thing up for me. Hopefully you got my email that I sent out on Friday, and this is a follow-up just so that I can stay connected with you and let you know what I'm doing and what's going on so that we can continue to run our course. I wish I were going to see you Wednesday night, Wednesday afternoon, but I'm not. The college is pretty much shut down for business, except for this online stuff, which technically doesn't begin until next week. In fact, you can't even get into the Salerno building unless you swipe an ID card. For those of you who went home and don't live in the Rochester area, I'll tell you some current events. We're now up to, I think, 10 people who've contacted the virus in Monroe County. There is one that is actually within some proximity to Fisher. It's somebody who either worked or is a resident at the Friendly Home, which is on East Avenue as it approaches Fairport Road. I don't think that's cause for panic. I do think it is cause to take this thing seriously, and I do. Just in case you wonder whether Fisher made the right decision to shut down classes, I think the answer is yes. That's what we needed to do. Restaurants are being urged to close down. Bars are being urged to close down. All of the schools in Monroe County are closed. It's hard to find toilet paper or towel paper or soap at Wegmans. You know, panic buying doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not real good, but it's what's happening. So everybody, like every single person, is affected by this, you and me as well. I've been learning a lot about Blackboard, I've been learning a lot about Zoom, and I'm going to be using them pretty extensively. I'll talk with you about that right now. My reason for making this video is to try to establish a sense of normalcy. Life's been a bit crazy for everybody, and you know, when COVID-19 is not something that we have to cope with, we meet every Wednesday afternoon for 3 hours beginning at 2:30. I'm not sure we can run a 3-hour class online, but I am sure that we could make a decent enough attempt to spend at least a half hour together or maybe an hour together, and me find interesting things for you to do, both in class and out of class. So what I expect to do is use Zoom to meet with you Wednesday afternoons beginning at 2:30. Now, I realize that given that you're not on campus right now, you may be undertaking other things, but respectfully, I need to remind you that that's the commitment that you made and that I made. And so please make the effort to be with us and join the meeting 2:30 Wednesday afternoon. That will start with Wednesday, March the 25th. I'm not an attendance guy. I never have been. The risk of sounding a little arrogant, my classes are well attended. I don't worry about it. So I'm not checking to see whether you're there. I am saying that we have a nice class culture. Good things happen in our class. The people that you sit with are your friends and your colleagues, and so join us. Be part of this. You can help make this work. I'm in this to promote your learning. I like growing young people. That's what I do for a living. I'm going to do everything I know how to do to keep our course interesting. This is not to disparage any of my colleagues, but you know I've never been a PowerPoint guy, and I've never been one to simply put out lectures. So I'm thinking about activities and coming up with ideas and trying to be creative. And that's how I want to be able to organize and run our class. And I want to retain the kind of culture that we have built. You know, you're sitting with friends, you're sitting with colleagues, you do good stuff together, and I want to make sure that happens. So my request of you is that you stay flexible. I would say the same thing about myself. Tolerate some ambiguity, because who knows, there may be changes. and trust that this process can work. I think if you can carry those three thoughts, you'll do just fine. Now, I'm going to give you a few more details, but the most important thing for me to say is that count on a Zoom meeting next Wednesday, the 25th of March, starting at around 2:30. Okay, let's talk about things specific to our course. If we had class this Wednesday, then Ken Glazer of Buckingham Properties would be here. The following Wednesday, Kathleen Wheelahan would be joining us, as would Rashid Muhammad. I have to get in touch with them. I'm going to do that this week, and I'm going to get in touch with all those people who were kind enough to agree to visit with us, including Dave Pritchard, who invited us to go to Gore Bell. I need to find out whether they are still willing to participate in our class. If I had my druthers, they would come here and join a Zoom meeting, and we would do this live, so you guys could ask questions, have reactions. I think that would be great. I don't know what they're going to say. I'm not whiz-bang super cool with technology, but if they don't want to come here, but they're willing to video something, I will learn what it takes, or I will cajole one of my friends to help make sure that that can happen. So the point of all of this is to say I can't tell you exactly what we will be doing when we meet on March 25th, but I'm hoping that you'll have a chance to either live or otherwise engage with some of the speakers who are going to come. We also have a team workshop that would have been done on March 18th if we had class, and that's on Patrick Lencioni's book called The Advantage. Now, here's what I don't know because I'm not savvy enough, but you guys are. If I could make a wish, we would have that team workshop on Wednesday, the 25th. Those of you who are involved in it, you may want to email one another or figure out a way to get in touch with one another to see whether there's a way that you can make this work. Maybe it won't be as spectacular as it would have been if we were all together, but I'm going to be real flexible and real understanding about that because, all of us are in a situation that we have not been in the past. So my request is that you try to connect with one another and see whether you can produce that workshop for us on the 25th of March. If you can't, I'm not going to scream at you, but please let me know. Send me an email, give me a phone call, so I can plan accordingly for our class. Over the next several weeks, we have speakers who are coming in. We're at that part of the semester where sort of I do less and others do more. So we have workshops that are planned, we have speakers coming in, and my hope is that we can do all of that, and so I'm kind of optimistic about that. If it winds up that we can't, then I'm going to figure out what we can do. Like I say, I'm in this for your learning, and I'm going to make sure that that happens. Please check Blackboard periodically. I've opened up Blackboard for our class. Expect to see announcements from me or materials that I'll send you. I'll also send you documents as PDFs attached to emails. Again, we'll make this work. There is a personal leadership development analysis plan that you're working on. I don't recall the exact date that it is due, but I'm sure you do, and I can refresh your memory if you don't. So let's plan to have that handed in as well. My recall was that it's not next week anyway, so I think everybody will be fine. Some closing thoughts. Watch email. I'll be writing to you periodically this week. Stay in touch with Blackboard, connect with that. If you want to call me, if you want to talk about anything, if you have a concern about something, you can reach me in my office. I'll be here most of the time. That's 385-8086. You can also send me an email, jberman@sjfc.edu. You know I have a good track record responding to people, and I promise you, I give you my word, I'll get back to you either the same day or one day later. So, Um, Here's the last thing I want to say. You are a great class. I tell it to you all the time, and I love spending time with you. You know, I'm going to celebrate birthday number 71 on the 19th of March. So I've been a college professor for a long time, and teaching and learning and the opportunity to work with people who range in the age from 18 to 25 or so has been a major part of my life, and it brings me great joy. I love spending time with you. I am so fond of you collectively as a class and individually as well. Um, Stay safe. You know, there was a time that even I was 20 or 22, and back then I thought of myself as relatively invulnerable and invincible, and the fact of the matter is you're not. You may not be as high a risk for the coronavirus as people my age are, but take this thing seriously. You know, pandemic used to be a word that just appeared in a dictionary, and nobody ever used it seriously. But this one is serious, and we're using it now. So please take good care of yourself, and know that I'll be thinking of you. And for those of you who would like to connect with me, I'd be delighted to do that. Expect to see more excuse me, communication from me this week. Extend my best wishes to your families, and count on our next class being Wednesday, March 25th at 2:30. That's news for now. I'll connect with you again soon.